What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Would You Watch It Again? This show will review your favorite movies, anime, and TV shows. At the end, answer the only question that really matters: would you watch this over again? I'm your host D, and today I'm reviewing Fast X. Let's talk about it. So Fast X continues the story of Dominic Toretto and his family living peacefully, but wouldn't you know it, another villain from the past shows up to tear Dom's family apart. This time around is Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, who is the son of Hernan Reyes, the villain from the Fast 5 movie. Dom and the rest of his team get labeled as terrorists after being framed by Dante and now need to go into hiding. The rest of the movie follows different groups around the world trying to meet up while dodging the new Mr. Nobody and the agency. Now, this definitely reminds me of Avengers Infinity War, where all the heroes are trying to meet up to stop Thanos, but in the end they don't, and that's how we get a part 2. This movie is full of a lot of new and old faces. Almost anyone who is in the Fast and Furious movie is either mentioned or has a picture quickly flash on the screen. One thing the series is known for is its over-the-top stunts that defy all laws of physics, and this movie is really no different. I do think that maybe they ran into some type of budget cuts along the way, because I can definitely tell when I was looking at a CGI car and when I wasn't. It's nothing too bad as the early 2000 movies, but I definitely had to mention it. As I mentioned before, this movie has a ton of characters, but the person who stood out the most was definitely Jason Momoa. He would never ever be cast in anyone's Batman movie as the Joker, but he does a decent job at it in this movie. It looked like he had a lot of fun playing Dante, and it shows. While most villains in the franchise come off as gangsters or some type of terrorist group leader, he comes off as just a flamboyant, crazy guy who just wants revenge for his dead father. He definitely gave off Saints Row character vibes. It's a nice switch up from the usual GTA styled villains that we usually get. I'm also very convinced that this series takes place somewhere in the Dragon Ball Z universe, because anyone who has died in a previous movie always comes back, and at this point I gotta assume Shenron's up there just granting wishes. In the last movie, we had Han come back, who famously died in an explosion in Tokyo. They even made a movie about taking down Jason Statham, who's also in this movie, to get his revenge. And now Gal Gadot is somehow back and is working for Cypher, Charlize Thornton's character, who also finally has a normal haircut in this movie. I feel like when you keep bringing back characters, you take away the sense of danger. Like, who cares if someone gets shot or blown up in an explosion when the next movie they're gonna come back as a villain, and then by the end of the movie they'll be back as family. Final thoughts. So would I watch Fast X again? Yeah. It's one of those turn your brain off and watch this explosion type of movies, and I can use that from time to time. I would say if you haven't seen it, you're missing out on a decent performance by Jason Momoa and some really cool action scenes. And if you have seen it, hey, watch it again.